It's March 2020. The Federal Reserve prints $4 trillion in 8 weeks. 8 weeks. In 2021, the government mails checks to people who never lost their jobs. In 2022, Russia gets kicked out of the global payment system. In 2023, countries start trading oil without dollars. In 2024, central banks buy more gold than any year since 1950. And right now, in early 2026, the 10-year Treasury pays more than it did during peak inflation. So here's the question. When does a recession stop being the thing we should worry about? Because a recession is a bad season. What we're looking at now feels more like a rule change. Think of the global financial system like a long-term apartment lease. After World War II, the world signed a lease with the United States. The deal was simple. Everyone uses the dollar. Everyone trades oil, goods, and debt in dollars. In return, the US keeps the currency stable, inflation low, and protects global trade routes. For decades, it worked. Great location, reliable landlord, everyone renewed. But here's the thing about long leases. Eventually, the landlord gets comfortable, starts pushing rent, stops fixing things, and the tenants quietly start checking Zillow. The first crack showed up in 1971. That's when the US stopped backing the dollar with gold. From that moment on, the dollar was backed by one thing only: trust. And for a long time, trust was enough. The US had the biggest economy, the strongest military, and everyone needed dollars to buy oil. But trust is like credit. It works great until you abuse it. Fast forward to today, the US owes $36 trillion. That's more than the entire economy produces in a year. If a normal person did that, we wouldn't call it stimulus. We'd call it a problem. Here's the important part. Monetary systems don't usually explode. They leak. Instead of everyone panicking at once, people just adjust. They stop lending long term. They stop trusting promises that last 30 years. They look for exits that don't make headlines. That's why central banks are buying gold. Not because gold is exciting, because it doesn't depend on anyone keeping their word. That's why countries are trading in their own currencies. Not because they hate the dollar, because they don't want all their savings tied to one landlord. Nobody sends a breakup text, they just stop renewing. This is where it stops being abstract. Meet someone like David. Early 40s, good job, 401k, doing everything right. Every calculator says he's fine. 7% returns, low inflation, smooth retirement. But all of that math assumes the measuring stick stays the same. If inflation runs hotter for longer, his money doesn't disappear. It just quietly buys less. The number on the screen goes up, the lifestyle it's supposed to buy goes down. That's not a crash, that's erosion. So no, this isn't the next recession. Recessions are resets inside the system. This is the system slowly changing shape. The danger isn't panic, it's complacency. Most people are still planning like it's 1995. Stable money, safe bonds, set and forget retirement. But when the rules change, lazy planning gets expensive. You don't need to predict the future. You just need to notice when the game isn't the same one anymore. Because when the lease finally ends, the people who adjusted early move smoothly. The people who didn't are left wondering why everything costs more even though they did everything right. That's the real risk.